dangers and the crackdowns. But what about driving drugged?
It's happening more in Arizona, and now a task force is doing something about it. The story all new at 11. ABC 15's Kimberly Chang is live in Mesa, one of the departments taking part.
And Kim, we're not just talking about illicit drugs, but also prescription drugs. That's a problem too.
Definitely, that's a main concern. Good morning, Kirk and Connie, and I think that every driver should really be aware. These are staggering statistics. New data shows that the number of DUI drug arrests have gone up 12% this year. I looked at some of the data from the past decade. This is from the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Let's start with the total number of DUI arrests. In 2011, there were roughly 32,000. In 2012, that number dropped to just about 29,000. But DUI drug arrests were at just over 3,500, and that jumped to 4,000 in 2012. And get this, the numbers increased every year for drug DUIs except for 2007. I want to bring in Lieutenant Thomas Intrieri with the Mesa Police Department, who also is part of the Southeast Task Force. Can you tell me, I mean, it must be a challenge for you guys to figure out who's drugged as opposed to someone who's driving under the influence of alcohol. So how do you overcome that challenge?
Absolutely, Kimberly. It is. Whenever you have somebody who's impaired by drugs, you don't have the physical signs such as the odor of alcohol that we often find with people that have been drinking alcohol. But some of the other symptoms are very similar. Bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech. Some of those are very stereotypical of an impaired driver, and we see those with both alcohol as well as drug-impaired drivers.
Now, Kirk mentioned prescription drugs. Is that playing a huge part in this increase that we're seeing?
Prescription drugs has had a significant increase in impaired driving as well as day-to-day life in our society. CDC did a report back in 2009 that showed over the last 10 years the number of deaths resulting from prescription drug overdoses rose over 370%.
Wow.
So that certainly has a significant impact on not just those types of cases, but also on those operating motor vehicles on our roadways.
Now, if you're caught driving under the influence of prescription drugs, is there a difference in terms of the charge that you receive as opposed to driving under the influence of illegal drugs?
No, there isn't a difference between the prescription or prescription drugs versus illicit drugs. The statute remains the same. So really, the driver has the obligation to make sure that if they are given a prescription medication and they're not to be driving on those, they shouldn't.
All right, Lieutenant, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it. So you guys heard them. The numbers very staggering, going up year to year for the last decade, except for 2007. It's gone up every single year, guys.
Another reason to watch everyone driving around you. Kim, thanks so much. Appreciate it.